Welcome to the Cowl Cast. I'm Mike, sitting alongside
Demoan
Mikey.
And I have the pick this week after we took a little divergence with Matt being our special guest with Court of the Owls, but it's back to my pick. And I have chosen Batman: A Lonely Place of Dying, one of my favorite Batman stories ever. And that's the famous story that introduced Tim Drake, the third Robin, to the Batman mythos.
Yay.
And as we kind of diving in, how are we all doing today?
I'm good.
Well,
Bored, but good. Somehow, at least.
So how'd you guys like Lonely Place of Dying? Did you like this story?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this story's dope.
I think it was a really good way to introduce a character like Tim.
Yeah, bro.
Tim's
your favorite Robin, so.
Tim Drake's my favorite Robin. He's a lot of people's favorite Robins.
He's my favorite Robin too. So.
Dennis O'Neil, the longtime Batman writer and editor, said when Jason Todd died, when they kicked around the idea of doing Into the Robin, there's like this famous story of like, if we're doing this, we have to do it right. So he helmed Marv Wolfman to do it, who was responsible for the whole the new Teen Titans line of books, and which would later go on to be the New Titans. And he was at this point in time, it's the New Titans. So this story runs between Batman and the New Titans. It's a 5-part story. And just kind of diving into the beginnings, we open up in Batman number 440 with Batman immediately locked in combat with the Ravager, but not the one that's
villain, like ever.
Yeah, so. But like not the cool one that's Deathstroke's daughter.
Yeah, right. Because
isn't this his son though?
Is it his son?
I don't think so.
I'm sure this Ravager is his son.
I don't think so. I don't know who this Ravager is.
I don't know who it is at all, because I'm not really familiar with Titans.
His son Grant Wilson is another Ravager, right? Grant Wilson, correct?
Yeah, his son.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it is.
I don't know. I was like, this dude looks ridiculous. I wasn't really paying attention to him.
Oh no, he looks ridiculous, but but I think both Ravagers are related to Deathstroke.
That would make sense with the Titans connections.
Mm-hmm.
Also, artists on this book, we have Jim Aparo on the Batman issues, so longtime Batman artist and Brave and the Bold artist Jim Aparo, and then in the New Titans issues, we have great artist George Perez. So art in this book is great throughout.
Yeah, George Perez, I've known him mostly for his like Wonder Woman work. Like he's really good with his Wonder Woman art. I've seen.
Right, and he's also he did Avengers with Kurt Busiek, and then he did Crisis on Infinite Earths. Dude's the master of cramming a bajillion characters onto one page.
I think I met him at a con once.
Oh, really?
I think I saw him like sign an autograph and stuff like that. Yeah, still doing good. He was on an episode of Comic Book Men too. That's how I know of him.
But Batman locked in combat with the Ravager. He's been pretty reckless, isn't he?
Oh, true. Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Lots more cuts and bruises than he normally gets.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not more injured and like doesn't care anymore.
And as the fight's going on, as Batman is like limping back to the Batmobile after getting rid of the Ravager, we hear the snaps. We hear a snapping sound, and we realize it's someone who's taking pictures of Batman and following the trail. And he says, "Now I can." And he's like, "So much for Bruce Wayne. Now I got to get pictures on Dick Grayson." You're like, all right, who could this be?
Mhm. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The whole picture aspect of the panel.
Yeah, and we'll say that now. Obviously, it's Tim Drake, but we don't know that yet.
I thought it was just going to be like a random reporter.
Yeah, I thought it was like a villain or something that's like tracking Batman. But yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be.
And then we get our villain who's sitting by a radio, hearing that Batman has once again stopped the Ravager and his plan has been foiled. So this villain, who we don't see their face, has to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. I have just one thing I wanted to add. The whole radio thing, I was a little confused because I thought these are just like random reportings he was listening to, and then later on you find out it's like someone,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back to Wayne Manor as Bruce is just battered and bloody and like has this horrible fever and he's like twitching all through the night, and Alfred's trying to care for him, And we get like a sequence of like, since Jason's death, Batman has just been more reckless and more brutal.
More brutal. He doesn't have someone to hold him back, bring him back to that, sense of humanity.
Exactly.
Not until since Jason died, so.
I wouldn't even say it's that bring him back to humanity. I think it's like he no longer cares for himself, really, like, because like he feels like he's failed and he doesn't. If anyone should have died, it should have been Robin.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, Alfred talks to him about it. Is just like there used to be a time when you think with your brain, not hit with your fists, and he's just like, it's like you need to remember that.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
And then a mob boss. This whole first issue is really just a lot of setup, and the mob boss is being approached by this man in a trench coat as things are going again, and then we cut to the Teen Titans, where the same photographer is taking pictures, but Dick Grayson's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's Dick? I need to find Dick immediately. It's important."
But Batman learned the man in the trench coat is sending this mob boss and his goons to the Zwei Brothers warehouse to do on 22nd Street. Do you see where this is going?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
To rob all these books. It's like for some of this convoluted plan so they don't have to pay the authors, but they can sell the books for double the prices. It's really weird.
The goons are just like, why are we robbing books? Who reads anyway?
Yeah.
Like, well, this is pointless.
But also Zwei, if you don't know, German for two.
Yeah. I didn't actually know.
Someone's really trying to force this too right here.
Yeah, I took German all throughout school, so I knew that. That was a very easy thing for me to key in on.
They had to explain it to me. I did not speak German.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That me too.
But Batman is there to thwart them, and he stops them. But he starts hearing Alfred's words in his head. Think with your head, and he realizes that's not what he's doing. He was thinking with his fists.
Yeah. Because he dropped a forklift into a guy, which is...
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So dangerous.
It's a very, very, like, angry Batman. And so... And then it's revealed that Two-Face is back, and he's the one that's behind this.
What's it called? I just want to add, I don't like the way Two-Face is drawn. Like, I know it's, like, a little dated. I'm used to the whole, like, burned look, like, after, like, the whole, like, Dark Knight thing. I'm not used to the whole, like, green, like, weird colored hair, too, like, on his back
his
side.
hair changes on the other side, which is weird.
It's,
well, that was always a thing. You always had different color hair on the other side. Well, the weirdest thing with Two-Face is that his face goes from, like, green to blue to purple, then back to green and black to purple. Like, there's never been, like, a definitive, consistent what color is his other half of his face supposed to be.
Yeah, it's just...
But I'd say at least for me, at least looking, like, media-wise, since Long Halloween... the other half's usually been purple.
Okay. All right.
Our mystery photographer has gone directly to Starfire and asking, where is Dick Grayson? And she doesn't even know where he is. He's apparently gone AWOL from the Titans. But
yeah, away from the Titans.
But
our mystery photographer has dug very deep and
knows that he has his own apartment, and he goes there and finds that the end of Americana is in sight. The local circus to close after 60 years. Which the Haley Circus is closing. Which that is the circus that Dick Grayson performed at. Yeah,
where the Flying Graysons are known for performing at.
So this guy's off to Haley Circus to hopefully try to catch Dick. Which that sentence by itself is weird.
Yeah, it's.
And then we're on to the New Titans number 60.
60.
Which I really like this cover.
It's a nice cover.
I'd say all the covers in this story are pretty good. But Demoan, you want to handle the second issue?
So we start off with Starfire's confronting the new leader of the Teen Titans after Nightwing retired, Cyborg, and they're working their hardest to find him. She's about there's this random kid searching for him, and they want to figure out who either the kid is, and they also want to find. I'm sorry, Dick.
Yeah. Find some.
All right. Do we all have it out of our system?
Oh gosh, man.
Oh my god.
Eventually just give up and decide we're just gonna contact Batman, Bruce Wayne, right at the source.
They put a call to Wayne Manor, but Alfred picks up and he's just like, no, he hasn't been here since so-and-so.
Yeah, and it's like...
Also, no one's been here.
Yeah.
So it's like
I like how Alfred, when Vic's talking to Alfred, he's like, hey, you remember me, right? He's like, yeah, of course I remember you. And it's
I think
I polished your armor once.
He polished his armor? That's the funniest thing.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Half of it comes off?
Yeah.
No, I pictured it as just like he was standing there as Alfred was just like polishing it.
No, that's a good one, but I like that like some of the pieces just come off, so he's just like standing there without an arm for like, well, Alfred was polishing that.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be like an awkward conversation while he does it, just like, so, how long you had the arm for? Like,
good work on this arm.
But
it's the most awkward conversation while he tries to have it.
But we finally cut to Dick Grayson as he's entering Haley's circus and he washes an elephant.
Hey, you skipped over Speedy coming back. Speedy came back to help.
Oh yeah, he shows up when he's just like, oh yeah, if you need me, I'm here.
And Cyborg offers him the job as leader. He doesn't take it.
And Jericho's the one that finds the secret safe in Dick's apartment.
Yeah.
Jericho, also one of Deathstroke's children.
Yeah, I had to look up this guy because I just never know who he was.
Oh, Jericho?
Yeah.
Deathstroke's son, other son.
Yeah, Joseph Grant. Mm-hmm. He's mute.
Yeah, he signs. But, like I said, Dick's washing an elephant.
Mm-hmm. Washing his old elephant who recognizes him from when he was a kid, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I liked how, like, when he's approached by two people that work at the circus, he pulls off the backflip and the guy immediately knows it's Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, I want someone to say something real quick. I'm like, the guy acknowledges, like, after he does the flip, the guy acknowledges him as Little Dicky, and I was like, Little Dicky.
That's what I understand his name is Dick, but, like, I know what they're doing.
And then he's approached by a drunk clown.
A drunk clown that he knows.
Everyone's favorite type of clown.
Yeah. I forgot what the clown's name was, though. Yeah, but no one likes him.
Well, they don't like him because he's a drunk.
Most guys are drunk. His name's Harry, by the way.
Yes.
Harry. Okay, there we go. I know it started with an H.
Harry the clown, and he's a drunk, and no one really likes him because he's a drunk.
I think it's just like, they try to make an excuse, like, he's going through stuff, but like, no, he's a drunk. Like, it's annoying.
But Mr. Haley informs Dick that they have to close down because they've had a series of incidents. But in the spirit of the show must go on, he does stick around for the night, and he does take part in the show, but like kind of in the background.
Yeah.
We'll find out what role he takes later, but there's an argument between Harry and one of the lion tamers because he thinks that he's behind the accidents.
Yes.
So no one will buy the circus so they can get out of their contracts. But this guy would be able to go to like any other circus, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He could go big time as a lion tamer.
Yeah, he could go big time as a lion tamer.
Yeah, I guess that's a really lucrative paying job in 1989.
Yeah. It's when he should have said, "I don't need you people. Once we're gone, once we're canceled, I can go solo and hit the big time, make the big bucks as a lion tamer." So.
I mean, if he's going to Vegas, maybe, but like.
Yeah.
I still a lion tamer. Like that's such a weird profession to go big time in.
It is. Honestly. It's very odd. But in the scrap, Harry's flask was dropped.
Yep.
And Dick picks it up. Remember this. It comes back later.
Yeah.
But our mystery child is at the circus.
Mystery.
which is now dubbed Circus 2000, which is the same thing as Circus Ever.
Of the future.
Honestly.
The circus of the future. That's what it is.
Yeah, but
The kid is... When we get to the lion tamer, the lion, because it's been not treated properly, Gerbil is the name of the lion, and he lounges... looks like it's a girl lion, too.
is it? Okay. It's lioness.
Yeah, there's
It's
no
a lioness.
name, so it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Latches at the lion tamer and tears out his throat, killing him.
Yo, she murks that
But
dude.
not immediately, because
No.
he has time to answer.
He has time to answer his, my neck is torn open, my neck. So I guess it is a male lion, so...
Okay.
No, it has to be female.
No, it has to be.
No, he
female.
says he.
Because there's no mane.
My neck, he's torn out open my neck.
Yeah.
So Marv Wolfman doesn't know female lions. Listen, this was a time before The Lion King. We didn't know yet.
Maybe it's just a really young lion?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because that's the only way it could have no mane.
He just
Anywho,
assumes that all lions are gay.
But the gender of the lion is not the most important thing here. The
No.
thing is that his neck torn out by it.
yes.
Yeah.
And Dick, who's disguised as a clown, leaps into action trying to sedate the lion. But he is too late as the guys died of blood loss.
Remember I was badass too, just swinging around as a clown doing flips and shit.
And then we have our first actual face panel of Tim Drake.
And Drake, your boy.
Everyone's sitting around in the room going, okay, after this incident, we're definitely broke because...
We're closing down now. It's over.
Yeah, someone died. That's not a good look on the reputation.
And as Dick's leaving, knowing that, well, my childhood home is going to die, Tim Drake is scrapping with some janitors, and
Yeah.
Dick finds him. And I liked this, how he's able to pull a leap over Dick, but Dick is still good enough to, like, throw him down.
Yeah, but it still shows how, like Tim has some fighting prowess. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's something to Tim, but, like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the experience that Dick has.
And Dick thinks that the old clown murdered the lion tamer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Or
like,
Tim does, but Dick refuses to believe. Dick wants to look more into it.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that the only proof they found is the, guess whose flask?
Harry's
Yeah, the
flask, which it turns out that it's the strong man and the little person that are actually behind it, as they took the flask and planted it. And Dick poses as Harry to find that out.
Mm-hmm. And they took down the big strong man, but the little person got away, I believe.
Right.
No,
Tim's able to trap him
Tim
in
trapped
a
him.
bucket.
But Tim
Oh, yeah,
trapped
he
him
dropped
under
him
a
with the
bucket.
cup thing, right? With the bucket, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
He dropped a
under
bucket
giant
on him. Which I like that. Like, they immediately paint Tim as, like, this very capable and very smart character.
Yeah, what makes Tim, like, great as a character. That's why he's, like, my favorite Robins. Like, more calculated than the rest of them.
Right. And he's just like, wow, like, Dick Grayson is really good. Because he knows that he's Nightwing. And formerly Robin. He's like, this is the first time I got to see him up close. And he's like, wow, he really is good.
Mm-hmm.
But, he thinks Dick's going to join back up the circus, but no, he becomes the co-owner. And that's where he informs him, like, hey, Batman needs your help. And he shows him the pictures of him fighting the Ravager.
He's like, how the hell did you get these?
It's like, oh, I climbed up on a cliff and took them.
Like, what kids do.
Yeah, you know, what kids do.
Yeah.
Just a regular Saturday afternoon.
And
Anyway, move on,
and then we get a cool panel of Batman just kind of perched on a cliff, like on a gargoyle. I just really like that, of him waiting.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Batman 441, which is my favorite cover of the entire event. It's just Dick Grayson holding up the Robin costume as Alfred and Tim watch on, and then you really got a cool like shot of Batman and Two-Face's head like against each other.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
it was a very nice one. I think the new Titan 61, the next Titans one, is going to be my favorite cover.
Okay. But we open this issue with Batman and Two-Face both trying to figure out plans to lure the other to them.
Yeah.
And
Which
this
I
was
thought
cool.
Was amazing for this issue.
It's just psyche of the criminals and Batman for like both of these is just ridiculous. How they had to try to think against each other, trying to lure the other one.
But it
And,
makes
like-
sense because Two-Face should be like is like because him and Batman used to work together when he was just Harvey Dent District Attorney. So I always like that Two-Face should be smart.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he should be smart.
But like, I like how now he has this obsession with accomplishing two things with every crime.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I always like wondered with Two-Face is that like even when he was Harvey at the time, like we all know he was really smart. But then when he's Two-Face and has the dissociative identity disorder with like the split personalities,
Right.
is it? Oh, yeah. I always thought like when he's Two-Face, is Harvey just like Harvey has that intelligence and like the other personality doesn't, the Two-Face personality doesn't, or do like both share the same? Like that's what I always thought when it came to like the character of Two-Face. But
I always like the way I view it is like Harvey's just so mentally deranged that at this point that he has like this compulsion with his with the injury of the acid to the face. I also liked what they did in the animated series where like Harvey already kind of had a split personality with like anger issues with like the big bad Harv persona that he would have. Like I think that way works really good too.
I believe they did that in the Telltale game as well with Harvey.
Yeah, they did a little bit of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Dick Grayson brings Tim Drake to Wayne Manor. He meets Alfred for the first time.
I want to go back to I want to bring up something that I noticed that probably wouldn't fly as well today, where where Harvey wants to blow up the Twin Towers.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And this gets to a thing where, okay, I don't know if they're actually in New York or these are like the Twin Towers of Gotham.
Gotham.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't know if you know this. Gotham City does have like a Statue of Liberty. It's just called Lady Gotham.
Yeah, isn't like Gotham like around like it's either based in New Jersey or like near New Jersey? Like
it should be there. Like it's around that area. It's in the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an eastern city.
Yeah.
In that New York / New Jersey area. And then, like, Bloodhaven's off to the side. The way I always viewed it is, like, I don't really like saying Gotham's New Jersey. I always felt like Gotham's more of New York and Bloodhaven is more of New Jersey.
That's what I'm feeling, too.
But, like, they're definitely in the same ballpark.
Yes, I would say. Like, it could go either side.
So, either you can take this as two... And there is something about two... Like, the Titans are based out of New York right now, so, like... It's definitely like you can see like, okay, maybe Harvey is in New York, but there's also like, are these just the Twin Towers of Gotham City? That's like something you have to play with.
Yeah,
right.
It's the reader's imagination, their interpretation of what.
Because like Marv Wolfman puts like real world, references in this. Like there's a George Bush reference in this, because he would be president at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is odd to see in a DC book, but like it's not. It works. It's just a very much a product of Marv Wolfman's writing in the 80s and DC at that time. But Tim Drake is. This is where when Tim and Dick are talking at Wayne Manor, he informs him how he knows that Dick Grayson is Robin and Bruce Wayne is Batman, which I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes that when Tim was at the circus the night of Dick's parents' death, and he saw that Dick is like one of only 3 people that could do the quadruple somersault.
Yeah.
And he always remembered that. And then he saw Batman and Robin on TV, and he saw the same somersault, and he was able to piece together that
Nightwing was Dick.
Right.
Yeah.
And that Bruce was Batman because Bruce Wayne adopted Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's also a reveal that Tim Drake does have parents. That's what the thing that always separated him from the other Robins was. Tim Drake doesn't have like this tragic backstory until Identity Crisis.
And I believe I think it's like Jack Drake. I forget what his mother's name is.
I forget what his mother's name is, but his dad's name is Jack Drake.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, when you're talking about how, just like during like the whole like Harley Circus incident with Dick's parents and the fact that Tim was there as a kid, how in this part of the story that Tim also explains how even though obviously Dick was affected by his parents' deaths, but also Tim as a child was also affected by Dick's parents' deaths because he witnessed it at a very young age.
And even when he saw Batman, he thought Batman was someone that was going to hurt Dick Grayson, but like he saw that he was trying to help, and that's how he learned that Batman was a good guy.
Yeah.
But we cut back to Batman and Two-Face as they've both enacted their plans. Batman's plan is to lure Two-Face to a casino with $22 million on the line at this high-stakes poker game.
Yeah.
And Two-Face has captured these twins on a bridge.
But my favorite part about this that they chose two different plans, but they both thought they had the perfect plan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That would lure the other one out, and it just fires on both of them.
Honestly.
Right, and Batman, like, he can't help but, like, he has to go save the twins. He can't just leave them there. And it's where he realizes he's just like, I should have someone else with me. Like, he even says it after the fact. He's like, I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
And because like Two-Face can't resist the $22 million on the line at the poker game either.
Yeah.
But and during this, Tim is taken down to the Batcave, and he sees that for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still trying to pressure Dick into becoming Robin again.
Yeah. But not just helping Batman, specifically becoming Robin.
Yeah, becoming Robin, like taking back that title,
Robin.
that mantle.
But instead he changes into Nightwing.
Because he explains to Tim that he can't be Robin again. He's already something else.
Right, which is something that I don't know, did you guys read the thing Marv Wolfman wrote? Like the foreword before the story?
Oh, no.
I think I skimmed it. But
so like that entire sequence is to like prove that he's like, because we've already aged Dick up. We can't just have him become Robin again because that would be a disservice to everything that we've already planned. So that's there for that, but it's also showing that like we're not going back on what we've already done with Robin.
Yeah.
But
and like, what's it called? One thing that Dick said to Tim is the fact like Bruce Wayne basically raised me like almost my entire life. He raised me to become a man, and as like a man, I've made the decision to not be Robin again. Like I'm Nightwing. That's who I am.
Yeah.
So.
He's like, that's one of the lessons I learned under him. It's like you got to go your own way at some point as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of the issue as Two-Face is gloating over getting the money, and Batman's like, Batman's starting to realize he's like, I haven't been the same since Jason's died.
No, but this is my favorite part about Two-Face though. He has to flip a coin to see whether he can take the money or not.
Yeah.
He's already come this far, but do I take the money? He still has to flip a coin.
That's the thing with Two-Face with his his DID ever since the trauma, he always has to go by chance. That's just the way his character works.
But I understand. He's
so
far in the crime.
He could take the money. It's just the way his disorder works. He has to.
Well, yeah, I felt like that's a little bit weird because Two-Face is just always going to be taking the money. I don't think he has to flip for that. It's am I going to kill you? Flip it.
No, or even if he's gonna take the crime, flip it. He's just gonna, am I gonna fall through this entire crime or not? Not, I'm gonna fall through the crime and then decide if I'm gonna take the money with a coin flip. Which is I found that it's hilarious to me, but it's an odd choice.
But New Titans 61, where Demoan, you like this cover of Batman and Nightwing springing into action by breaking through a glass panel.
Yep, and then you have the other New Titans scattered around on the...
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
This is a cool cover. I kind of only glazed over that, but no, looking at it, it's a cool cover.
Mm-hmm.
But we open up with Tim once again trying to get Dick to put on that Robin costume, and it's just not gonna happen.
Yep.
And I really like this sequence of just because it lingers back to Morrison. He's just because Tim's well, if he's not going to put it on, then you can't let the legend of Batman and Robin just die. It's like he's like crying about it.
Has to be a Robin.
If there's a Batman, there's got to be a Robin, and that's what Tim's trying to explain to Dick.
Yeah.
Like, no one seems to understand what he's saying.
But this is an opening, and Alfred tells him like maybe this was a sign from Dick that maybe like that's later on we see that like maybe it's meant for you.
Yeah. Maybe you were here for a reason, like, you know, and to take up the mantle.
Right.
Essentially.
And then we cut to Raven, who's putting a full-out alert on the Titans to get in action to possibly help Dick because they know where he is now.
And then
we cut to Cyborg, who's in just a t-shirt and jeans.
But, like, still over the rest of his thing.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I find it very funny, yeah. The fact that, like, he's just...
Like, he still wears normal people
clothes. He would look fine.
80% robot.
It's like, bud, you don't have to do that.
Like, you don't wear it when you're fighting crime. Why are you doing it now?
And he's like, I'm trying to feel human.
He's trying to blend in so people don't find out his secret identity.
Oh, my God.
But then we cut back to Dick is with Commissioner Gordon. They're flashing the bat signal, but Batman's not showing up. And then Raven shows up being like, hey, you need our help? And he's just like, no, not this time. I can do it alone. But Jericho found a data disk of information that was sent to the Titans from Batman for Dick Grayson. And she delivers it to Dick.
But I like what Raven says to Dick about like asking for help, and he's like, "Yeah, I thought I could take on Trigon alone, but then you proved me wrong." So that was pretty cool.
I like that, just going like, "Hey, I get it."
Like, I felt like it should have come back to bite him in the butt, like that he didn't accept.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen too.
I think it does though, because it's Tim who has to save them in the end.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the way I took that. It's like with the way the story does play out, it's like it's almost like it's like a warning from Raven.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that now. But I just like the Titans, so
yeah. I think with the hindsight it works. In the moment you're like scratching your head though.
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously he's on the disc there's a lot of clues about Two-Face's next crime. Nightwing can figure it out and join him. And
then as Tim's like been at Wayne Manor for like 2 days now, by the way.
He's on summer vacation, but he's been there for like 2 or 3 days, easy.
Yeah. But they're talking about Batman and Robin. It's like Tim's like, no, I really do care for them. Alfred says it's armchair psychology at best, but he believes that Bruce is as obsessive about family as he is about preventing crime, and that's why he's just kind of gone crazy after Jason's death.
Yeah.
And we cut to Dick figuring out the data disk that Batman sent him, which leads them to this house on a particular street where everything has to deal with the number 2.
Yeah. I was just reading it and I was like,
the other thing about it is, like, yes, it's very on the nose, but Marv Wolfman said that he had so much fun doing this because it was at a time where you didn't have computers. So he had to literally go to a library and look up rhymes and riddles revolving around the number 2 for this to work. That's dedication.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, I really like that now. This seems a lot... Like, I liked it like the way they were describing it before, but it seems a lot better the more.
Yeah, okay. Even though that irked me while I was reading it, after you telling me that, okay, I respect the guy now. That was pretty dedication.
Like, Marv Wolfman's a great writer. I'm a pretty big Marv Wolfman fan, even though I haven't read the biggest thing he ever did, which was New Teen Titans. I've read like other things by him, and I like Marv Wolfman. He's a guy that very much loves comics and superheroes. But I like when Batman and Nightwing are on this roof, they're talking about how to go in, and Batman's like very much to remember to Dick, like, hey, since you're with me, you better listen to my, like, this is my show, you're gonna do it my way.
My rules.
Not with the Titans anymore, you're with me now.
He's just like, because Dick brings up a good strategy. It's just like, Batman's like, I'll take the front, you take the rear. And he's just like, well, why don't I take the front and you take the rear? Because he's not going to be expecting me. But Batman does what he does, and he goes and crashes right through the window, making as much noise as possible.
It's like, what? Like, what is happening with you?
Like, what happened to stealth, bro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what?
It's like, okay. And, like, Dick's very carefully going into this back window basement.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally he's talking like, what about stealth, bro? What about stealth? They just, like, opening this panel to a window. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I thought it was really funny.
But it seemed that didn't really matter, because once they get inside, Batman finds out that everything is upside down in the house.
Yeah. And he's like, 2 different perspectives. Something that involves 2.
Yeah, because since everything's in reverse, that would make the basement the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
Ha ha ha, Two-Face is there, and he's going to try to murder Nightwing, and he sets off a bomb, and just everything's falling on top of them. And Dick set his signal watch, his like signal tracer to them, and he's like, they're definitely getting a homing signal, and no one's picking up, so something's definitely gone wrong.
Yeah.
And with that, Tim's like, well, we can't just leave them there. Alfred, come on, we've got to do something, and it just closes up on the Robin costume. And I think we know what's coming after that.
Yeah, of course.
Which is part 5 of 5. And finally, in Batman 442, I own like a couple. I think I own all the Batman issues of this story.
Okay.
I need to pick up the Titans ones. This one is my second favorite cover.
This is a wonderful cover.
Which is
pretty cool.
the bat signal shining bright and Tim Drake as Robin swinging into action.
Yeah.
And the Speedo and booties and all.
Yeah, with his pixie boots.
With the pixie boots. Say what you will, the original Robin costume is great.
Yeah, you can say that.
But
definitely a classic.
I'll say this, Jim Lee, when he drew it in All-Star Batman and Robin, that's the most beautiful that costume has ever looked.
Okay.
He makes that thing look really cool. I still think it's a cool costume, but obviously Tim would go on to have a much cooler costume.
Yeah, he would get the padded one, which is like everyone knows him for.
And then eventually he'd switch to just the red and yellow one.
I love that suit so much.
Just the red and yellow one is great. I think
that's my favorite. Oh, so cool.
Even his original just red and green one is cool.
No, they're all great.
They're all great. Yeah.
But in this story, you don't get that quite yet.
Yeah. You get pixie boots and Speedos.
He puts the costume on, and Alfred literally drives him to the location.
Yeah.
So, like, Batman and Nightwing are struggling, and it's a race against time to get for them to get there. And then Tim puts on that domino mask, and he goes right after Two-Face, like without hesitation. Even Alfred gets into the action in this. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, I was like, what? It's like Alfred's getting involved? You don't really see that nowadays.
No, it's never. But Alfred and Tim, they get a little bit knocked around by Two-Face, and then Two-Face runs off, but they find the door to open up, so Tim goes inside and rescues Batman and Nightwing. And Batman at the pure sight, and he just goes, no, you are not Robin, and tears that mask off.
Like, what are you doing, kid? The fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
He slaps him in the face.
And Batman is very against Tim being Robin at all. And he's just like, no.
No.
I don't know if we said this at this point, but I remember like one of the things that Batman said is like Robin is dead and he's going to stay dead. Like,
yep.
Let him die.
After Jason's death, he's not doing another Robin. And he's like, still, I have no interest in arguing this while Harvey's still out there. And Dick brings up, well, I don't know where he went, but Tim does because he placed a tracking slip on him while they were fighting.
Because Tim's resourceful like that.
Yeah. And Batman's just like, all right, I guess you're coming along. And then we get to see him ride in the Batmobile.
No.
And it leads them to the Gemini shipping yard for wrecking yard.
Yeah, Gemini.
Yeah.
Just the 2 puns. Just, oh, God.
It was the Gemini casinos as well, that, by the way. What's funny is immediately that they get out of the car, get out of the Batmobile, Two-Face launches a wrecking ball at it, and it gets hit, and they immediately think Tim's dead.
Okay, but like, once I saw that, I'm like, well, another Robin dead. You know, whatever.
Wow.
And he's just like, oh no, I rolled under the car right before the thing hit it. I'm fine.
What if, like, this was, like, a trend? Like, if Tim actually did that, just kept killing Robins every couple years? Like, that'd be funny. Oh, gosh.
That'd be like, that's like almost like a Robot Chicken level sketch if that would happen.
Yeah.
It's been the most depressing thing for Batman ever, though.
Yeah.
He just gets a new Robin every couple of years just to have him die in the first or second mission.
Two-Face is picking up. He's picking all of the. He's picking Nightwing down pretty good, and then Batman's able to spring back up, and I love this. Two-Face flips the coin up, Batman catches it and just whops him in the face.
Yeah, that was dope.
And he goes, "Don't you know you can't kill Batman and Nightwing?" And then Tim just runs in, "Or Robin?" And then Batman goes, "Or Robin." He goes, "Okay, he's down with it."
It's like this weird like it's like this comedy like thing. Where it's like Batman's now learned the value of family.
And basically, our epilogue is them all sitting around in Wayne Manor.
So they're all back in Wayne Manor.
Yep.
And they've now convinced Batman that Tim is going to be the next Robin.
Yep.
Yeah.
But not. He's got to train first.
Yeah, he said keep it one day at a time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, okay, you've definitely shown enough that you're good enough to start. We'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But because like Tim still has to earn Bruce's trust.
Yeah, because he doesn't know him. He just appeared out of nowhere. So.
Right. And then we cut to the same radio again in a hospital bed, and it's find out that the Joker's like behind all this.
The Joker's pulling the string. Yeah. The person who was pulling the strings.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Kind of like.
It's really odd.
Like it's just not something I felt like needed to be happening, but like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's an ending.
Like the Joker's obviously gonna come back. Like I didn't need like to know he put the strings behind this.
Well, fun fact, this is like back issues I had as a kid. I think in the second Tim Drake miniseries, he fights the Joker.
Ooh.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, it's just him versus the Joker because I think Batman was out globetrotting somewhere, so it was just him in Gotham City, and that was I don't think like that would be before. And that's like when Dick was still with the Titans and stuff. So it was literally just Tim Drake versus the Joker. So that was cool. But overall, how'd you guys like A Lonely Place of Dying? This is one of my favorite Batman stories ever. I love this story.
Thought it was great.
I really liked it. I think it was, like I said in the beginning, it's a great way to introduce the newest Robin.
Yeah.
It showed capable what he could probably bring to the
mm-hmm.
And they did a wonderful job of showcasing him.
And it's sad because Tim Drake was this beloved character that came about, and just since the New 52 and Rebirth, he's just like pushed to the side.
Wasn't he dead for a lot of the beginning of Rebirth?
Not for the lot of he was.
He was in the first story arc of Detective Comics, and then he gets sent to Mr. Oz's room place.
Yeah, he's his future self who becomes Batman, and then it was weird.
Yeah. It's like Titans of Tomorrow, Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought the story was dope. I mean, it definitely showcased why Tim is a great Robin with all the detective skills and all that stuff. So he's my favorite. So
yeah, immediately, like from the beginning, he's already like presented as this very capable detective that can definitely work with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I said, Dennis O'Neil said we had to get it right, and they definitely got it right.
Yeah, it was definitely for sure.
Like Tim would then be adapted into the new Batman Adventures in '97 when they did the cartoon, and then like he was pretty much the main Robin for a good while. Like
he had like his solo series lasted like 100 issues, I believe.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's everyone from the 90s and like late 80s, like their Robin was Tim Drake for a long time.
Yeah, because this story came out in '89,
and
then until New 52 is in 2011, so like up until like 2009. So yeah, for 20 years, Tim Drake was Robin.
Yeah.
And then he would become Red Robin, and then the New 52 happened. And they said he was never a Robin.
Yeah, they said he was never a Robin,
which is bullshit.
He was like an oracle type, giving heroes like he was a man in the chair for a little bit, which I thought was crap.
Yeah, it's stupid. I hate it.
Especially for something like Tim Drake.
The thing is, like, I'm not gonna lie though, even though that was bad, the suit was kind of cool. Like, the suit that he had was kind of cool, except for the weird cape.
I hate the wing cape. I hated it.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like,
but this is the beginning of it, and I'd be down to revisit maybe later on down the road, maybe doing one of his miniseries.
Yeah, I would love to. I was actually thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Tim Drake is such a big character that people love so much.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, it shows that why Batman needs a Robin, which is that's always been a big thing. Is like, oh, why does he need this little kid following him around?
Mm-hmm.
The story shows like why he needs that as well.
Mm-hmm. Like Batman's become a symbol, and
because if there's not one around, there's not one to keep him in check.
The same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But how overall, like going into final thoughts where we all just basically go, no, we really like the story, because that's.
Actually, I want to pose a question real quick.
All right.
So let's say, I don't know, maybe like a year or two, the DC actually figures out what to do with Tim Drake. What do you think they'll give him his he'll look like Red Robin before New 52, or like something similar to that, and get his series back, or because that'd be cool.
I mean, Detective Comics right now seems to be the bat book for the characters that can't move their own book. I don't know who's coming on like literally this week, or no, it was last week that it'll be like 3 weeks after this episode comes out. But Tynion just finished up his run on Detective. I don't know off the top of my head who's taking over for that book, but hopefully someone does something with Tim Drake and not this like weird future asshole version where he's trying to kill everyone. But I will say that in Morrison's run, Bruce does say that in time, Tim Drake would make a better Batman than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So that's...
Which I would definitely believe.
Yeah, like that's the stature of how honored and celebrated Tim Drake was to the Bat family in fandom. Like, he's really, really big of a character everyone loved.
And just to add to that, in I think the Super Sons of Tomorrow storyline, with that future Tim Drake version of Batman, it showed that how right Bruce Wayne was, because he took down the entire Bat family all by himself. It was ridiculous.
Yep. Well, going into it's that time to announce the next pick for the Cowl Cast, Demoan.
And yes, I do have the next pick. And for the next pick, I have chosen the Batman story Gothtopia. It's a story where Scarecrow is the main villain, and it spans across 5 different Bat family books.
Mm-hmm.
Started in Detective Comics, right?
Starts in Detective Comics, also ends there, but it also includes Batwing, Batgirl, Birds of Prey, and Catwoman.
And this is from the New 52.
Yes. That's exactly, it is from the...
New 52. Oh my god, Demoan.
I mean, we just did an episode on the New 52 Batman. It wasn't that bad.
That wasn't...
Okay, it wasn't. But...
New 52 Batman doesn't seem the worst. Which is, I guess, all you can really hope for.
I mean, Court of the Owl... Will this be Court of the Owls level? Probably not.
Will it be City of Owls level?
Maybe. But until next time, we will leave you with good wishes, and
as always, get home.
Yep. Adios.